the opportunity not to be missed here in Egypt. I hope it's.
Well, it would definitely be ITT. Let me confirm that. But you know, what is ICT? Nowadays, it was mentioned that you know, it's more and more a cross-cutting matter. ICT. We have a company, Wärtsilä, that produces power engines that runs with pure hydrogen, which is a very new thing, which will feed data centers. So it's actually not just the software or hardware, but it is the infrastructure around it, including, of course, all the network equipment and such. But really, my advice would be to learn about Egypt's ICT ecosystem. Tomorrow we will have an excellent opportunity to visit the Knowledge City, and I know that our delegates will be very impressed because I know already what is in there. And then second advice, come and talk to us because we know a lot of people in Egypt. We have 2 full-timers supporting both Egyptian and Finnish companies in matchmaking in whatever needs they may have. And come to us. And Mr. Yasser Shauki, who is in the audience somewhere, is Yasser up somewhere here? He can rise up. Okay, there he is. He's a tall man. Yes, he's the tallest in the city. So Yasser is tall and I'm short, so we sometimes call him Stan and Oliver. But anyway, so I guess I yield my time to the rest experts. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. And Engineer Mahmoud Sofrata, if similarly, if you had to put a priority for one sector for Egypt-Finland collaboration, where would you place your bet?
No, obviously ICT. I mean, this is the sector I represent, but as I said, it's the fastest growing sector in Egypt. And you know, going back to you know, my first answer is that sector offers you know a balance for you know, Finnish investors and Finnish companies, because you, on one hand, you have the market. And as Mr. you know, Tapio mentioned, you know, when you look at new technologies, for example, like AI. So AI consumes a lot of energy. So you start from you know, the infrastructure, the energy, the network, you know, the data centers, and so on. And then you have you know, you have the consumers, right? So you know, you have the users. Whether it's you know, if you're offering a service, if you're offering an application, you have a big market there. So obviously, you know, Egypt represents a big market opportunity, but on the flip side, and quite, you know, equally important, is Egypt's biggest asset is its people as well. So, you know, from a talent perspective, the talent pool that Egypt offers is unmatched, you know, from the scale and from, you know, so horizontally and vertically. So looking at, you know, over 750,000 graduates every year. So that's quite big. And but when you look at, for example, you know, informatics and computer science, there's over 60,000 graduates every year. So, and that, you know, if you look at the, you know, for companies that are looking at niche services like R&D, you were mentioning, you know, R&D for, you know, multinationals like Cisco, they will be potentially looking at the top 1%, for example. So the top 1% of 50 or 60,000 is quite it's quite a big number as well. So you know, leveraging that asset is quite important as leveraging the market opportunity itself. So that's how I would portray it.
Thank you very much. So moving to Mr. Miku. If you had to commit one project, one flagship project in Egypt, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's connecting intelligence. But what I want to say about that, it is to work together with the operators on advancing the 5G in the country, but also connecting the subsea cables with reliable cyber-secure connectivity, building the data centers, and perhaps Egypt could be serving to some of the countries as a data embassy also on that side. So some of the things that could be possible.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. And just as a note, Egypt has the highest concentration of subsea cables running through Egypt or around Egypt in the world, or one of the biggest in the world. Um, Dr. Hisham, um, as a professor, and if you're advising both governments, um, what is the single most critical capability they should invest in over the next few years, or 3 to 5 years, for example?
I think I teach economics, part of my work. So Egypt has this very unique aspect of being the only country that I can claim in the Middle East and Africa that can play a role both on the supply side and the demand side, as indicated. So we're not just a demand place or a market, we also have a very strong supply side. And if I look at this duality role, I think this is where we have to invest together, not in a skill, but we have to invest together in building partnerships, real partnerships. Partnerships, in my view, build on three things: trust, credibility, and sustainability. And these issues, I think, are existing within most of the Egyptian business community and the Egyptian country, and it matches a lot the, let me say, the value system of the Nordics and Finland, of course. So this matching of the value systems, I think, is what we should leverage to build real partnerships where we start to create value together.
Thank you very much. Mr. Timo, if you were to design a joint Egypt-Finland AI transformation program, what will be the building or the main building blocks?
I think that it contains at least a local team and understanding that is necessary, and it's very good to hear that you have universities and students and very lower average age compared to the Finland. So I think that there is going to be a lot of native AI and data understanders. So every time when we are building something within some country or organization, it is very important to have that understanding, and wherever we are delivering the service or product, the front deployed engineers, so-called term, are needed to be next to the customer, next to the substance knowledge. And I think that is the first step that is needed to build a comprehensive team and then decide and plan what kind of knowledge and understanding is needed within the team and so on. But local process is very important.
Okay, thank you very much. And our last question to Engineer Ahmed. If you could introduce one regulatory shift or initiative by the FRA in the coming 12 months to accelerate digital financial innovation in Egypt, what would it be?
First, I want to tell something about our vision is that the innovation itself is not in the DNA of any regulator around the globe. So that's why we partner with the private sector here, like UCV Lab, like Plug and Play, and another four, and with actual infrastructure partners and cybersecurity partners. All of this from the private sector can help us to give the pipeline for the sandbox itself and buys all the innovation. At the same time, our vision to be a leader and a hub in the region itself. We're talking about Africa and the Middle East at most. And I think I can call the Finnish companies from this platform to get and partner with our private sector partners. They can establish their companies here in Egypt, and they can secure their place to get into the sandbox for the FRA and to secure license to work not only as a tech provider. No, they can also work as a business with a business license. And actually that's what we started 2 years ago, to give a license for the startups to work as a consumer finance and SME finance within one condition: to be a fully digital company, and with a 20% from the capital required, instead of 75 Egyptian pound, a million Egyptian pound, to be only 15 pound. This is actually what FRA is doing in the market to try to make the digital transformation fast, not only to make that, but to make it fast. And I think it's an opportunity for the Finnish companies to come and to engage with us to do such thing.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity and for this panel. I know that we exceeded by a few minutes, but we have one extra person on the panel, so thank you very much for this. I think I benefited from the discussion. I hope you all did as well, and the audience. I think we can feel it in the air that everyone is enthusiastic about relationship and partnership between Egypt and Finland. I think, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's what we have in terms of skills and capabilities are complementary. So we can use this and we can work on it to convert it into actions. Again, thank you very much for the distinguished panelists. Thank you very much for Gafi and for all the distinguished guests that are here. And let's go from the discussion to the impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Ayman Al-Gohari, Chairman for Global for Smart Solutions, and all the esteemed panelists for this great discussion. We are now having a group photo for the members of the session. Mr. Tapio Naula, Engineer